Based in Santa Ana, California, Bioenno Power provides the highest performance lithium ion phosphate batteries for the marine market. These batteries are 1/4 the weight of sealed lead acid batteries, provide over 2,000 to 3,000 charge cycles, and a 10+ year service life. These batteries can be used for any deep cycle application, including running fish finders, trolling motors, live wells, and LED lights. For more information, visit bioennopower.com. That's BIOENNOPOWER.com or contact dealers nationwide.
Welcome to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. This is the final cast segment with your hosts, Brad Hicks and Josh Eldridge, where we cast our final opinions on all products, good and bad. Welcome to the final cast. You're listening to the final cast on the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. I'm your host, Brad.
Chili Dog here.
What's up, Chili Dog?
What's up?
Not many people are going to get that reference because they weren't in the group chat. So I might share that video later.
My goal is to name myself after every funny moment of my day. Whatever makes me laugh the most on a Thursday or whatever day we record is going to be my nickname for that day. So
that's a good idea. I like it.
It's going to change.
Hey, by the way, that little Bioenno ad that you did, man, I like it. It sounded good.
Not too bad, considering that was only my second take. So
yeah, the piano keys sound like a Coldplay song.
Did it?
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it's all good.
I was just listening how obnoxious I sound, so
it was way better than mine, so it's all good. Well, cool. We got a cool episode today. We're going to talk about all of our favorite. Well, we're gonna take two of our best products that we've ever used that's related to kayak fishing. So we got Doo-Doo in here, and we got Brad Hurlboss in here. What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's going on?
Did I say your last name right?
Close enough.
Close enough.
Sweet. So what's up?
It's a Tuesday night in Wisconsin. It's above freezing for like 36 hours straight now, so we're making progress towards open water.
Heck yeah.
It got up to 47 here, 48 maybe.
Yeah, it was awesome outside today.
For how cold it's been, it felt like it was summertime.
Yeah, it was upper 70s here today, finally thawing out after our freaking ice age we had last week.
That's crazy, man. Like I talked to you before we started this. Matthew Scotch was posting videos of like frozen rivers and stuff.
Oh yeah,
did not know that happened anywhere down in the South. That's crazy.
Maybe every 100 years.
Yeah,
it was pretty dang crazy. But man, what I want to know is who's going to do my intro, man? I got to step my game up on chasing the tide because y'all. I was like, man, I got some ideas now going through my head.
I'll help you out.
Are you using any of the punk music you listen to?
Oh yeah, I will.
Did you? What's your music now?
Oh, it's my friend's band, the Bastard Sons.
Okay, that's what
I like. That song,
we go for broke. Yeah, it's a really good song. They're a pretty good band. They were based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and they did a bunch of road shows. They traveled all over the country. Yeah, it's pretty good times when they come through. My buddy Clayton.
Brad was in a band. Maybe Brad needs to get some of his old cronies together, make us an intro song.
There you go.
Yeah, those days are long gone.
You should upload the video of you playing drums. We'll play it on one of our episodes.
I got like, heck, man. If you go to my Facebook page and go under videos, I have like 10 videos of me playing the drums and crap. It's like from 10 years ago though, so I suck.
Are you any better now?
No.
He hasn't played since those 10 years. He sucks.
I haven't played in 2 years, so it's whatever.
Do you still have your drums?
Nope. I'm pretty sure I sold them to get more fishing gear.
I imagine. Yeah, I had my heyday fronting a couple punk bands back in the day, but I could sure get on a stage and rock the karaoke From the Humpty Dance to Jesse's Girl, you name it. I'm all over,
I can
dude.
picture that. I can picture that right now.
I'm not afraid to take a microphone, even if it's like a cover band. I'm known to hey, let me sing a song. Come on.
Heck yeah.
More than a few times I've jumped up there. Violent Femmes, The Cure, whatever. Humpty Dance, Snoop Dogg, whatever. Come on.
Oh,
We used to sing "Bust a Move" by Young MC.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Karaoke.
That's a good one for sure.
I was at work singing "Fight the Power" today. I was just walking around going, "Fight the power."
Sweet.
Oh, cool, man. Let's get into the freaking meat of this episode, guys.
Let's go.
So, all right, who wants to start? Josh, you want to start?
Sure.
I want to hear what your best product, kayak fishing related, that you have ever bought.
I'm going to say fishing related. I'm going to do one kind of kayak related and one fishing related. Cool. So my top fishing related was a pair of Sims wet wading boots. They're called, I think, the Intruders, and it's I got tired of trashing my shoes and also with rocks and sand in my boots or shoes or whatever. And I had a pair of nice Sims like G3s that I wore with my waders. But in the summertime, man, those things it's too much, man. I get too hot in it. So I like to wear just some shorts or whatever. But I kept going through tennis shoes and just trashing them, and it was just pointless. Like, I just hated having sand and rocks in my shoes. So I bought these Sims wet wading boots. They don't really make them. They make a different version of them now, but they're a little bit more heavier. But these things were super light, man. It was kind of like a partial, like, hard outer shell, and then the inside where you slip your foot into was a neoprene booty. And those things were awesome, man. Kept the rocks out. I did make one mistake when I bought them, and it was because I wanted the black ones instead of the real light gray ones that almost look white. The black ones had a felt sole on them. Not a complete felt sole, but the center of it was. And those things are slicker than snot, dude, when they get mud on them. So I've kind of busted my ass a few times wearing them if I'm not being careful or kind of cleaning them off. But the light ones were like like a full lug style, like hiking boot style. But dude, those things, I wear those things kayaking a lot too. I wear them all the time because they're fairly comfortable, and there's something about being in the river. I kind of have a weird fear, especially where we live, Brad, with like stepping on a needle or some shit like that, So like, it's just some of the places that we go, especially the closer we get downtown or whatever, it's just I've walked the banks, I've seen it. There's a lot of garbage, a lot of trash sometimes, especially in the springtime when everything floods out real hardcore, and it gets caught on the banks and along the shoreline. So it's one thing I kind of got into, is trying to wear like a pretty heavy duty pair of boots while I'm out there. So that's probably my top fishing one. As far as like, it kind of just made me more comfortable. So gave me ankle support too. I've sprained my ankle several times kind of bad, and a couple times it involved fishing where I stepped in like an area. It's got kind of like a lot of brush that's been pushed on shore where it flooded out, and then we get it where it fills up and it looks like it's solid, and you go to step on like a log or something, your foot goes through it. And so those things have helped a lot to kind of combat that, because I sprained my ankle one time so bad I was like, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to hike out of here. So that was wearing a pair of tennis shoes. So definitely like those Sims Intruder boots, but they don't unfortunately make them anymore.
Yeah, I'm going to go back because you said something about the felt waders, right?
The felt boots.
Yeah, felt boots. I used to have waders like that, and they had felt on the bottom, and they were slick. Those things are not safe, especially when you're in a river. Yeah. The other thing is a lot of people talk about felt being bad because of aquatic hitchhikers.
Yep.
And going from different bodies of water. So
And you can kind of tell too. It's not the greatest thing. Even if you wash, it kind of still stays dirty unless you're like busting out like some sort of like nylon brush and like scrubbing it. But it's the lugs definitely clean easier. But I mean, I don't know where the felt idea really comes from. I guess if it's on like the right type of rocks or whatever, like I could see it working, but around here we just have such a mixture that I don't see a benefit for it because you just get a little bit of mud on those things and they're awful. So
yep, super slick. I agree with that.
I mean, I even my G3s came with the spikes you screw into the lugs. And I'm like, I don't trust it, dude. I could just see myself like catching this rock and just sliding right down it. So
you still wear those boots too, don't you?
Yeah. Yep.
With your dry suit too?
Yeah, with my dry suit, I'll wear my Sims G3s.
Yeah.
Y'all talk about dry suits and stuff. I'm over here sweating already.
I didn't see you guys are freezing to death just a week ago. So
yeah.
Brad probably knows, man. That's dry suit weather up here.
Oh, I've got a dry suit. I mean, especially for when I'm on Lake Michigan fishing for salmon. I mean, you start trolling big bodies of water like that, safety equipment changes drastically. The dry suits, marine radios, flares, whistles, Coast Guard requirements.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes. We don't have big water like that, or at least around where me and Josh are, but still important to wear it, especially on a river.
Hey, Brad, did you see a time-lapse video, the big, huge chunk of ice that broke off in Lake Michigan and started floating out?
No.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I just saw it on Facebook before we started. It's kind of cool looking. You see this giant crack form, man, and it's huge. Like,
that's crazy.
Floats on out. It's kind of crazy because you can see it start to move in a sense with the way the sun's setting or the sun's moving. You can see like the not the skyline, but the shadow from like the city buildings are like moving, and as they're moving is when that ice starts busting out. It's kind of weird.
I'm gonna have to check it out or tag me in it or something. So let's go up to Brad, man. What's one of your products that you like?
I'm a shallow water fisherman. I mean, you'll catch me most years. I mean, I'm throwing a frog. I'm skipping docks. I'm a shallow water guy. So for me, micro power pole, hands down.
Yeah.
I mean, for the shallow water, I mean, from everything from even like after you catch a fish, like on a river, floating down a river, catch that fish, drop the pole, then you can like get your measuring board out and you can measure it. Everything's good.
If you're not watching on YouTube, Brian just jumped in here and he's distracting Brad.
I'm half surprised he isn't half naked, posing with dead fish.
Yeah. Hey, man. I'm going viral.
You got to do what you got to do to get some likes around here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there medication for the kind of viral you're going?
Good grief.
But yeah, that power pole is cool. I've never actually used one, but I've seen them in person, and oh man, I'd love to have one on the river.
I know a guy that's got one. I mean, I fished with him quite often. I don't think he ever even mounted it on his kayak yet. I mean, I think it just lays in his garage and he doesn't even use it. You probably could pick it up off the Big Worm.
Sold it.
Yeah, he sold it to my buddy Chris. I brought it back. You didn't like the power pole?
Yeah.
I went a different route.
Oh. Which route?
Route 66.
Doesn't that come like right out of that state of yours?
Yeah. Yeah. It goes all the way to California.
Yep.
Interesting. Right to the coast.
All right, dude.
Go ahead.
I was going to jump over to Doo-Doo because he got one to share.
Oh, okay.
So let's hear what you got.
You know what helped me a lot was I'm stiff, y'all get a talk about old ass Doo-Doo. All them skateboarding injuries over the years. And it was like tough getting in my crates and all that. So, I got the Yak Gadget, I got the Low Pro XD crate. But the big kicker for me was adding those the upgrade risers, the feet the riser upgrade. It comes in like a 2.5 inch or a 4.75 inch risers, and it just lifts that crate up, and then the way that crate sits, it's like your boxes are angled. It's much easier to get into than like going inside of a crate or a black pack or whatever.
It's like you're going blind too. You're like, hope that's the right box.
Yeah,
nope,
and I run mine without the cover on it. So, and then I got water bottles in there. I got some dude wipes back there for when I got to go take my namesake, and it just made it much easier to organize my stuff. And I just I set no matter if I'm on the inshore or fishing bass tournament freshwater, I got a way I set my boxes up, and it's just I can just reach back there and grab them. Not having to really turn around a whole lot.
Yeah.
It just made organizing stuff a lot more in a way that with them risers, it sits it up to where it's just right behind me. It just works perfect. So
that you don't have to turn around and like kneel on your seat to get in your box.
No,
that's what I hate doing.
If I do at times, I'll just turn and kind of side straddle and just lay my legs over the side and kind of work it. If I have to stop and do it like that, but most of the time I just reach back there and get it. It's just right there. It's kind of it helped me out a lot, because used to have to get in and open a lid on the top of a crate. I'd have to turn around and dig in there.
What size did you get?
I got the XD.
No, what size of risers?
Oh, the 475s.
Okay.
Yes, I like the 475s. Yep.
Those risers are like necessary for some of the kayaks out there nowadays. Like the Bonafide and the new canoes. I don't know about Jackson, but
yeah, it on some of the other ones with the deeper tank wells, it helps get the rod tubes from the rod holders up over the gunnels.
Yep.
So it does help too, but it just helps elevate it and get it. I mean, it just works perfect. I can just reach behind me and grab everything. Just made it easier. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool to have those. Yep.
I ended up just to clear on the big rig doo-doo. All I did was tilt those side rod tubes and put new holes in it and reposition it at an angle. So, but I did that as soon as I did that, dude, I was totally like ecstatic to find a box that fit a Jackson rear, tank well. Cause like that was something I struggled with my black pack before, was having to turn it sideways into HD, and it was still sitting on the rod tubes. I couldn't have like rod tubes on both sides. It wouldn't fit either, any way I did it. So when that XD crate came out, I was like, let me see if this works. And it fit perfect, man. Even when I was with Brian, Brian, I remember when I brought my black pack and Brian put me in it, dude, I had to set those rod tubes on the actual the tie down screws, for the bungee. Mm-hmm. And I had to like position like to have it holding the rod tubes, and even at that, it didn't really fit very well. So,
yeah, that's cool.
I put risers on mine. I didn't get them from Yak Gadget. I had some Starboard just chilling in the garage, so I just made my own. And it's cool. It makes a huge difference, man. Like you said, some of the model boats out there, that's an issue because of that tank well. And I had that issue in the New Canoe Pursuit, and I put two on and just kind of spaced them kind of close to those gunnel walls. And I mean, you gain so much room in that back of the boat. And not only that, but it brings your tackle and stuff up higher towards you. So like, Dudu said, for the older guys, you're starting to lose your eyesight, it's easier to see what you're grabbing,
Yeah.
But no, the risers are huge addition to that for some of the model boats out there.
Yep.
And if you think about it too, a good idea, and it kind of makes the box dry out better if it rains or whatever, is to drill some holes in the flooring of that, and then you have those risers, and it's not sitting down down in the water if it rains hard on you or something like that. So
that also having that little extra, like I found, having that little extra space underneath the crate, I slide stuff under there.
You can slide stuff over there, especially when you're grabbing it and loading it up and you want to just slide stuff under the crate, because mine stays in the back of mine while I'm transporting it, just so I don't have to break all kinds of stuff down and everything. So just got a little bungee goes across the boxes and slide stuff under there like you're measuring board and some other stuff, and it just keeps it from blowing out. Yep.
That's exactly what I do.
Yes, sir.
I could see it being perfect for a boat like the Frontier or something that's wide open from front to back or something like that, where you can actually slide rods under the crate and tie them down into your boat and stuff.
Yeah, it works great on the U-Pick. Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it works good on there. Works real good on there.
Man, I always wanted one of those.
They're cool boats, man.
I dig mine.
They paddle pretty quick too. I like that.
They paddle pretty well too. Yeah. I've done some 8-9 mile days in the marsh in that.
Yeah,
paddle only. Pretty good boat.
So Brian, you're a big worm. What's your one of your favorite fishing / kayak products ever?
To help me as an angler.
Whatever, man.
Paddle and Fin podcast. It helps me be successful on the water any day. I learned so much from all of you.
That's the best subtle brag I've ever heard, I think.
Dude, come on, man.
I think that's a lie.
I'm trying to get a plug in here for you all. Come on. I was being serious. I mean, that came from the heart, bro.
I'm sorry.
Nobody believes you.
Don't believe me. Don't believe me. Yeah, I don't know. Kayak fishing product. I mean, I got into Douglas rods last year, and that's helped me tremendously. You know, not to plug them or anything, but rod sensitivity, like higher end rods in general. It's always been an eye opener. You know, you always look at a rod and you're like $300. Like, yeah, no thanks. Like, I'll go buy, you know, $100 combo or something. But when you actually spend time working some of those more expensive rod and reel setups, man, it makes a world of difference. And I connect with way more fish for sure. So, you know, I think just a higher end rod that you can really, you know, we all fish different rods, right? And you know, I think just being able to feel that bite, feel the bottom, feel the way your bait's work and things like that has just helped me be more successful on land and fish. For sure, with just a higher end rod. And that's not to knock like lower end rods. I mean, they work. I've caught plenty of fish on lower end rods, but my hookup ratio and my bite ratio has become a lot better with a, you know, nicer rod in my hand.
Right. I agree, man. Like I recently switched over some nicer rods too, and the sensitivity kind of blew my mind because I was always at that $100 price point, and they were never like super sensitive. I fished the bottom a lot in the river.
Sure.
So when I'm throwing those $100 rods, I can feel the rocks. But when you're throwing like the $300 rod, it's like, holy crap, you can feel
the pebbles.
Pebble.
Yep.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. I'm ruined forever. I guess, but my wife's gonna hate me in a couple years when I'm buying $500 rods or something stupid.
I mean,
she hates you already.
She probably does.
Yeah. It just makes a world of difference, man. Like it's really an eye opener. And, you know, I kind of learned that back in my fly fishing days, like, you know, casting a cheap $100 rod compared to like an $800 rod in the fly fishing world. That is such a huge difference. And I had always caught fish on just cheap combos. Like I still got I think like a $60 rod and reel quantum combo that I bought at like Cabela's or Bass Pro Shop, and I'll still use that rod to this day for just Texas weightless Senkos, you know. And it works, and you know, I know what to feel for on that rod, but it's just a world of difference, man. And I would recommend to anybody out there that's actually like, you know, on the fence about picking one up, like talk to somebody that's close to you that has one and use it for a full day.
Yeah.
Holding it in your hand in the shop is not going to make you understand what we're talking about. You know, you got to actually put it through the paces and get a real feel for it to understand. You know, I think that's the biggest thing. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's a different balance to it. You're going to have less fatigue in your wrist and hands, arm. It's just there's so many more things to think about. You know, the weight of that rod and the balance of it is totally different. They're more precise and definitely helps out. You know, but back in the day, dude, I'm gonna tell you that pistol grip lightning rod was the shit. Back in the 80s, man. I'm telling you, them things used to be the jam back in the day. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to them. They're still around, right? I guess.
Yeah.
What, Berkeley Lightning?
Lightning rod.
I've got one sitting right next to me on my left right now.
There you go. Yeah,
I used to have one
too. Yep. Mm-hmm.
They're like $40 too now.
It used to be. I think they were more expensive back in the day. I think they were. I can't remember. That's a long time ago. Trying to think back to when I was in high school and stuff.
Well, this one's got to be at least 20 years old because it was my dad's.
Yeah. Oh, right on.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man.
Hey, Brad, what about you?
I'm gonna go with the Bending Branches Angler Pro paddle, man. I've said it on the shows before, but you let me use it all day that one trip, and again, something else that just ruined me because I had to spend more money. Gave it to me, sat in my hands. I used it all day long, man, and that thing, I was blown away how much lighter 3 ounces is, 4 ounces is compared to the Angler Classic I was using.
Yep. I had the same deal.
I mean,
from the Classic to the Pro, and it's just like night and day, man.
It's just crazy, 4 ounce difference, and it's just like I can't believe how much lighter this feels. But paddling upstream is what I found to be much easier with a lighter paddle. Mm-hmm. I was surprised. They just cut like butter. Yeah. I'm like, man, this is nice. Saved my shoulders and everything.
Yeah, I remember that day because it was me, you, and Justin that went out and we were talking, and I was like, you guys, if you ever get the money to go out and buy a nice paddle, I recommend it. And you guys were like, how much? And I told you what the price were, and you're like, oh, no way, dude. I'll never spend that money. And I'm like, it's what I said too. And, I got mine for a discount. Like, I think I had like $100 off or something from the local outfitters place, had one of those like rewards programs. And so I had like $100 that I could spend on whatever I wanted on the store. And I was like, I'm going to go ahead and get that. And I think they might have had it on sale. I'm not sure. It wasn't like marked down like a lot, but I think it was like the year before leftovers. So they were getting ready to get a new shipment in. And I was like, all right, cool. So I spent the money on it. Dude, I was blown away too. I was like, this is just night and day difference. I mean, I was using a 240 Scout, Bending Branches Scout, and that thing weighed more than the 260 Angler Pro. And then on top of that, having that added extension, made me more efficient as a paddler, but just the sheer weight. But I just remember it was hilarious because him and Brad and Justin looked at me like I was insane. Like, oh no, I'll never do that. I'll never spend that much. I'm like, here, try it out and tell me though, if you can't say it's not worth the money. So,
right.
Even Justin now, he has a Werner paddle, and that thing is pretty freaking sweet too.
Yeah, the Shuna.
Yeah.
He won that, didn't he?
Yeah, I think.
Didn't he win that through the pod?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a cool paddle too. But
I'm a fan of my Werner. I mean, a high quality paddle makes a difference. I mean, when you're talking ounces over 1,000 paddle strokes in a tournament day. I mean, ounces, 1 ounce, 2 ounce, it all adds up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you got Dudu over there, like, what's a paddle? I got my Torpedo.
No, I paddle. Come on.
I know. I'm just messing.
Oh, I know. Yep. No, I got. Yeah, I went to the Angler Pro and just was like blown away myself. And you think those blades, you think, they're so thin and light. It's like, man, I'm gonna beat them things up, dude. I bang it on oysters all the time, reef, rock, and they take a beat and they keep on.
Yeah, they do take a beating. I mean, you can wear down that film that they're using as far as the coloring, to get the design. But I mean, I went down through like a tunnel that I was kind of crossing from one little canal to another and not realizing it. And I was paddling real fast with one of the kids and I didn't realize how narrow it was. And my paddle I got stuck in the tunnel because the edges of the paddle scraped, dude. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's like, here goes my $300 kayak paddle, and I'm expecting it to be like broken half or whatever. And it didn't do anything. I mean, even didn't even really sand it down real bad. Like I was expecting to see like a really good flat spot, and it really kind of didn't do that. I mean, I could see where it kind of scratched it up some, but
I'm picturing like a Wile E. Coyote moment. My eye just.
This is exactly what it was. It's what happens when your 5-year-old's like, "Daddy, go fast." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm just, and then he goes, "All right, let's coast through the tunnel." And I'm like, "Cool." And I just set it down in my lap. Didn't even think about it. Just like right into the gut.
Why did we stop, Daddy? That's funny. Oh man, yeah, I've beaten the crap out of mine, and it just has scratches. That's it. There's no gouges out of it or anything,
I mean, I think that if I go to get another paddle again, though, I think I'd go with like having an Angler Ace in the river because I felt like really bad beating the finish off the Angler Pro, basically. Like mine's real dull looking now. It's kind of sad. Like it's actually somebody else owns it because they stole it from St. Clair. Yeah.
It's just like patina on an old shotgun. It just gives it character.
I was gonna say that gives it character, man.
Exactly. Well, I don't have it anymore. Somebody else owns it, so
need to get you another one.
Yeah. But, all right. Should we go another round? We got time.
Let's go another round. Let's do it.
Round there.
Who wants to start this one? I got to think of something because you took mine.
Let's go up to Doo-Doo. I think he's ready.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. No, yeah, you brought it up earlier. Saying I don't paddle. I got the Torpedo. Yeah, that's definitely been a great tool in my arsenal was to have that motor, especially to cover water, scouting new areas and stuff, tournaments and stuff like that. And then just extended my range really a lot. It's a big plus to have that motor to push out and maybe go fish areas I might not been able to access without that. So, there's days I can do 12, 15 miles sometimes away from where I launch, in some of these base systems. And it might not be a straight line, 12, 6, 7 miles, but I'm jumping and zigzagging all points across these base systems and stuff. And it's just, it's been key in finding the right fish, for some of these tournaments and stuff. And then same thing on the bass side of things, you make that long run and, you might not be able to access some launch points close enough so you can just you get that increased range, and it's got GPS, it's got real time range data, speed, and battery life, especially with that the 403 AC with the 915 watt hour battery, you get that little increased range with that. But yeah, it's been a great tool, man. It definitely has for sure.
I bet that thing
been a big plus.
I bet it's like so important, especially with like your huge like marsh areas like that, man. I just couldn't imagine not having one out there. Yeah,
the only thing you have to watch is if you say you're fishing a redfish tournament and then they have a live weigh-in, you can't
California
really drag the
where'd that come from?
Yeah, what was that?
We already played that.
Oh yeah. You can't really drag your redfish, because you'll drown them. You'll push all the water through them if they're on a stringer. So the key thing is to build a on the kayak live well, which then you can haul butt back to the launch and get your fish ready to go and take them to go weigh in.
Yeah.
So you just got to take your time coming back, but but it's definitely great for scouting. That's a big plus. Then you can kind of fish your way back to the launch if you had to ease back with the fish on a stringer if you had to. So
I do got do got a question about that though, because a lot of people use a Torpedo for different things. Somebody will use it for distance and other stuff. Other people position. How do you use it? Like when you get to your spot, do you use it to position yourself, or do you just pull out the paddle?
No, I usually pull out the paddle and stand up and start, push poling around with my paddle and looking for active fish in the grass or tailing or kind of see them cruising the flats or something. Or I just stay down and just, if it's an area that I just want to target and kind of blind cast, I'll just fan cast out in the area and just kind of move around with my paddle and use it kind of use it to go from point A to point B. You see, I posted some videos chasing some redfish, and I actually, rip one out of a school, and then the school keeps moving and pushing bait down the shoreline, and then I haul butt with the Torpedo, catch back up to them, and throw in there and get another one right out the same school. Like 3 or 4 fish out of the same school sometimes, and that's really cool when you can do that. So yeah, that's a big plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that was crazy. My buddy has the 1103 now, and he still has his 403. And he's like, dude, come check out the size difference and the weight difference. That 1103 is big, man. Yeah. It's quiet. I heard it's super crazy quiet, but it is definitely a heavy motor compared to what the 403 was.
How much does it weigh?
There's like a 9-pound weight difference on the motor itself. Yeah.
I haven't seen one of those yet in person.
They're giant. Yeah, they don't have a reduction gears in them, so they're quiet, really quiet. And they will pick up and go side by side with my 403 on the big rig, and Dwayne Taff has his 1103 down when we went and fished the Kissimmee trail down there. I mean, he just walks away.
I believe it.
Yep,
that's cool. But its overall speed isn't really necessarily that much faster. It's kind of the more torque, like the bottom end, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that both. Overall speed, yeah. He gets over 6, and I get like 5.1.
Oh, okay.
He was getting like a 6.3 or 6.4.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
But you burn that battery up pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Still got good range, but you definitely.
Brian, you should get us all 1103s, and we should do kayak drag wars.
Why should I get you all 1103s?
Oh,
I'm not hooked up with Torpedo. You're talking to the wrong guy. You got to talk to the doo-doo.
I'm gonna shoot Jeff Little a message tonight. Be like, we've got a great idea for Paddle and Fin. We're calling it Kayak Drag Wars, and we need 12 or 13 1103s, bro.
Oh wow! Cover your ears, Jeff Little. Cover your ears.
You'd be like, they're already in the mail, bro.
Oh gosh, Kayak Drag Wars. We'll set it up like Street Outlaws. We'll be total hillbillies. Throwing money around.
Race for pink slips.
You're going to see 3/4 of my deck of my kayak cut out for weight reduction. No seat.
No seat. Yeah.
It's just a stadium butt cushion, so you can get as low as possible to get aerodynamic.
Not even that. I'm going to do it like how they do the Thailand like mud boats. I'm going to be laying down like just going.
Yeah. I was about to say that. I'll be laying on my hull. That's funny.
Sounds dangerous.
My tournament partner, he put one on the Kraken 15.5 and was getting like 6.1 or 6.2.
I saw that, man.
With the 403, and that thing's moving. And that like Jeff was like, man, that gives me all warm fuzzies and seeing that long efficient boat getting that 403 on it moving,
Heck yeah.
Dude, that the Kilroy HD is supposed to be one of the faster ones too. He said,
"Yeah, it moves."
Have you ever seen that video where he's trying to cram to the front of it and he can't get his feet up underneath it?
Yep. That's good. Yeah, you trim it down, move forward, and trim that nose down, and get that bow down in the water. Definitely helps the efficiency of the motors and helps move it. Yep, sure does.
I was impressed with how fast the SS127 went with it on it.
Yeah,
it's like 5.5 mile an hour, almost 6. Pretty good.
Yep,
that's a big boat too. Cool, man. Let's go back up to Brad here. What do you got for a second product?
Brad.
I know I said I'm a shallow water fisherman, and I am, but I know when to go to that deep bite. So really fishing electronics, like side imaging and my Panoptics, like the whole package, like being able to scout structure and then pick structure apart real time has changed my deep water bite, especially targeting smallies up in the Wisconsin area.
Dude, that Panoptics looks sweet.
It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, it's just a tool though. I mean,
yes,
it's like everything else. You can't just catch the fish. Like you can see the fish. It almost makes things worse at times because you can see a school of fish and you can get so focused on them and they'll never bite. Like you should pick up and move, but you don't because you can see how they're interacting. Mm-hmm. But really where I really found where it helps is like boat control. Like say you're working a ledge and as you're moving forward and you like can turn the transducer left and right to see if it's falling away or falling towards you to like work a perfectly straight like level. And then, or if you want to be a certain distance off a weed line, you can position yourself off and know because it's all real time and you don't have to be moving really. So you can position your boat a cast length away from a weed line if you want to work a weed edge.
Yep.
Does that thing like help you learn like fish behavior, how they act on ledges and stuff like that as well?
I guess if you sat there long enough and watched, you could. But I mean, if I'm throwing a lure at a fish and it's not being active, I've just kind of got to the point where it's like I need to move on because otherwise I could spend all day trying to catch this single fish.
Yeah.
Where it's really been cool, which is hard to do. You get the conditions have to be right to like really get it dialed in. But I've been able to actually watch my crankbaits out of cast and see exactly how deep a DT10 with 17-pound of Brazex runs. Mm-hmm. And like on a 6.3 reel, I'm like, I'm always had in the back of my head to run 10 feet. You got to crank it pretty quick. You got to kind of give her giddy up and go. I was so wrong. Like I was turning that thing way too fast. Like you can really slow roll like a DT10 and it's going to run 10 feet. Like I didn't know that. How would you know in real time how deep your crankbait runs?
Right. That's interesting, man.
Especially if you're trying to like pick if you're not trying to get all the way down and beat it against the rocks, if you're trying to stay slightly above or something along those lines, like I had no idea how deep it really was running.
Yeah. That stuff runs through my mind too when I'm fishing. I'm like sitting here throwing like a crankbait like that. 4 to 6 feet is what I throw most of the time because I'm a shallow guy as well. But do they really run that shallow? Sometimes it doesn't seem like they do. I don't know if it's me doing something wrong or what, but I'm with you.
Yeah, I learned that I reel way too fast on crankbaits. I learned that pretty quick because when I got a DT10 on and it's running like 17 feet, I'm like, whoa.
That's crazy.
We need to slow this bad boy down.
That's crazy.
Oh. Interesting.
But yeah, and it's not even just Panoptics. I mean, just side imaging in general. When you're out scouting a new body of water and you find a rock pile 50, 70 feet off to your right or something along those lines and be able to spin back around and being like knowing how to utilize it so you can drop waypoints on that so you can go right back to where it is. Mm-hmm. Just things like it just helps you break apart a lake so much faster.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Let's see. It was this year. Yeah. First year using side imaging, man. I had like the gist of it, but first year using it just being able to see like trees and stuff off the side, like 90 feet off to your left or whatever. It was crazy.
And then to see how much of that tree's underwater that you had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. That and this stuff's becoming more affordable too, the older it gets. So, I mean, it's only a matter of time before they come out with something else that even more expensive that we got to buy.
I want the automatic fish catcher. And you could like set a dial like only 17s and up, you know?
Right. It's just like it's almost like the bank teller tube system. You just throw it down in the water. Here comes a bass. Yeah. Just lay it down on the board. There you go.
I'm going back to the old the round depth finder and the paper graph. That's where I'm going. Taking it back.
changing out that paper reel on the water.
That'll blip that.
Yeah.
Bleep, bleep. Yeah. I'm
gonna
go back.
Running traditional submarine sonar. He's
submarine sonar.
Ding, ding, ding. See, dropping depth charges, man. Like, ping.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about. This is like ancient history or something.
All right.
Go watch Hunt for the Red October.
Yeah. There you go. All right, grasshopper.
Yes.
Oh man, that's funny. Big Worm. Why? All right.
Big
What?
Worm.
Why is your name Big Worm? First off,
I don't know. You've never seen Friday, bro?
Yeah.
Big Worm, Big Perm.
Big Perm. I mean, Big Worm.
He's probably not seen that either.
Yeah, whippersnappers. What are you gonna do? You know.
I'm not a movie guy.
Oh, Brad, you live a
Dude.
sheltered life, my friend.
Hey man, I don't support Hollywood. They're bad people.
Okay.
I'm just joking. I just don't watch movies.
You know, I was going to say electronics too. Brad beat me to the punch. But when I really think about it, like one of the key things I picked up last season that made a huge difference for me all around was my kayak trailer setup. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm rolling that Yakima Easy Rider. I got the rooftop tent, the rod box on there. And that's been huge, man. Like I've even taken the tent and the rod box off and hauled 3 kayaks, you know, like when we went down to Dale Hollow. But it's just been huge. Been great on gas mileage, just because it's a lightweight trailer, independent suspension, the rooftop tent for, you know, camping out and when I'm going to events and things like that. And then the rod box, not having to untangle my rods when I'm pulling them out of the back of my truck has just been a huge thing too. So I would say that whole setup, you know, it was probably one of the best investments I had last season. As far as like just ease of getting on and off the water, having a place to stay, keeping my gear organized and things like that.
That trailer looks cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say it rides well because we going through them switchbacks and stuff in Dale Hollow.
Yeah.
And then some of them bumpy roads and back roads, man, that thing would just flow, man. You could tell it rode really well. It pulled well.
Yeah, that's the big thing with it. You know, it's that independent suspension. You know, it's not like a solid axle trailer like you know most trailer companies are putting out, or you know, guys are converting jet ski trailers and things like that. It's got a solid axle. And usually, when you're going down the road, that thing like hops and you know, bounces all over the place. Whereas the Easy Rider, with the way that suspension is, man, it stays glued to the road and. It just rides super smooth in it. And, you know, that makes a huge difference on your gas mileage too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the biggest thing. And then not only that, it's got the breakaway tongue. So storing it in the garage, if I need the extra room, I can fold the tongue back and things like that. Or, you know, at the campground, setting up the tent. If I'm going to be set up in one spot for a couple of days, I'll fold that back. So, you know, you're not tripping over it in the middle of the night when you're going to find a tree, you know, to relieve, you know, a few pops, so to speak. I have tripped over it a couple times, so that definitely saves the shins.
Yes, definitely.
That video that you and Jay made going over those setups, it's on Pound on Finn's YouTube, right?
Yeah, that's it just passed 10,000 views. Like a couple weeks ago. So it's been a hot one. And I know a lot of that has to do with the actual tents themselves, because Jay's got a completely different tent.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's got a completely different trailer too. He's got a right-on trailer, kayak.
Yeah,
trailer.
That's what I got.
Yeah. And well, he's got the 2 tiers. So he's got his tent up high. Mm-hmm. He's got rod tubes down the sides on the outside. And then his kayak fits, just barely, you know. He's got the big rig right now, and that just barely squeezes through there, which works. But he did some modifications to his trailer. He put wider tires and stuff like that on, because that trailer is so top heavy now with the rooftop tent up there, and the rod tubes. But yeah, it's interesting. Like if you guys are out there listening, like interested in a setup like that, like Jay's is like definitely the budget friendly end, and mine's like a little bit more like higher end, so to speak. But they both definitely have pros and cons to them, for sure. For sure. Jay's got a little bit more room in his tent versus mine. But mine sets up faster and drops down quicker, things like that. And then, going back to riding down the road, like Jay pulled my trailer going down to Dale Hollow, and he's like, dude, did we lose the trailer? He kept looking in the rearview mirror because he didn't feel it,
Yeah.
because he was so used to his just kind of bouncing around and kind of tugging on the back of the truck a little bit. So yeah, I would say that's probably one of my key things from last season that's just helped me off the water, so to speak, but helped me get to and from the water and be efficient with it.
That's a good one.
I mean, that tent was pretty nice when we were up in Sturgeon Bay. I mean, Chase and Smalley's up there. I mean, we got some pretty gnarly weather that one night.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say too is what is it? Every time I'm in Wisconsin, it like torrential downpour thunderstorms. And that's something I'll say too, like when we were up in Hayward this summer, when we were at Sturgeon Bay, like we had some pretty gnarly storms and my tent didn't get wet at all. Like stayed completely dry. And I mean, it was windy. It was coming down. There was bolts of lightning. I was more worried about trees getting struck by lightning and falling on me when I was in my tent than I was water getting into it,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I slept right through all that.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you're, staying in the Ritz-Carlton,
I think I couldn't hear it over my air conditioner, man.
Yeah. World's smallest violin right here for you, buddy.
That independent suspension is probably what I like most about the trailer. And I think, Josh, you were the one that told me that Mike Grimsley said that you can actually upgrade any trailer to that like pretty cheap, right?
It's not real cheap, actually.
Well, I mean,
it's a fairly expensive setup, but the benefits like the Brian's talking about far outweigh the cost. Like when Mike built his trailer, and it has independent suspension as well, and I want to say it's a couple $100 for each side. But dude, that thing is the most overbuilt trailer. Like it's rock solid. You know what I mean? You could fit 2 Hobies on the bottom and 2 Hobies on top next to each other flat. Like it's huge. The downside of his trailer is it's super heavy, so it's kind of hard to move around.
Mm-hmm.
Brian's is still has
super
the capability of being able to move, by yourself by hand. Like Mike's, you're lifting up off the ball of the off your hitch, and you're like, good Lord, dude, this thing weighs a ton. But it does his even as being as heavy as it is with the independent suspension, dude, you can't tell it's back there, the benefit I see with like a wider trailer like Mike's, now Brian probably doesn't have this issue because he's got so much accessories on his, but like say like my Malone is narrow and I can't see it behind me. Yeah. So as I'm backing up, like if it starts to, go off center, a lot of times I don't see it till it's kind of too late. So like with Mike's trailer being as big and wide and having like the little lights up in the corner, you can see that thing in the dark. You can see it like it's extended past the sides of your truck. It's, obnoxiously big, but it sucks for drive-throughs. Like if you got to get Taco Bell, you're like,
it's about like mine.
Yeah.
But it does make a huge difference, man. And yeah, you can upgrade any trailer with those the systems. I don't know what they're called. Like I don't know the name brand. Mike would probably know that, but maybe Mike, if you listen to this, comment where you get those that independent suspension setups are pretty sweet. So
the only reason I ask is because I'm interested in doing it to mine eventually. Because I think it'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I think I might be interested in doing mine.
Yeah,
and to be honest, I think they have different levels of like they have like a lighter duty, mid duty, and heavy duty kind of. I think they even have like an off road like style that's
overland style.
Yeah, you could probably put like 33s on your trailer or whatever.
When I was looking at building an overland style off-road rig, I know it was Timbren made axle-less suspension.
Yeah.
So I know that's one manufacturer out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the year before I was pulling I was pulling them alone, and I had the blue sky on that thing, man, and that thing would just bounce all over the place. Super light trailer, but it wouldn't
It's
stay
too light.
the road. You know what I mean?
It's too light almost. So,
my Easy Rider is probably a little bit more in weight, but it's not that much more. But it's got a wider stance and a lower center of gravity, and then that independent suspension, man. It's just killer. It's just killer.
Yeah. Cool, man. Let's go over to Josh. You got your second one?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna say my second favorite product I've gotten is gonna be the Kilroy HD.
You love that boat, man.
I do, dude. Like it was I liked the way it paddled. It was faster than my HD, and it still turns just as good in my opinion. But dude, being able to drop that second seat, dude, and take my kids out was like, dude, it was awesome, man. Like I had one of my favorite, weekends of the year was when I went with Ricketts and we took our kids out, dude. And my little boy had the time of his life, man. And the cool thing is that he was comfortable. Like if he wanted to, he sat on, the front part of the kayak, and it's got that, sea deck style matting on the front. He just sat there dangling his legs out, and if he got tired of sitting there, he could jump back. And I had bought like Justin's extra Kusa seat, got 2 Yak Attack tie downs, and put it into gear tracks and strapped the seat down. It was just as good, man. And it, it made it comfortable for him, and I still had plenty of room for me to be able to fish. And I love that kayak, man. It's awesome. It's a fun kayak. So super, super stable. I mean, it's 36 inches wide. And then you put on the fact that it's a hybrid sit-in, and it's even more stable because your feet, in a sense, are sort of below the water line. So
yeah.
And I mean, it's roomy, it's comfortable.
It paddles great.
The paddle's great. Like, yeah, it's a nice kayak to paddle. So
yes.
And the other thing I loved about it was the gear tracks all over it and all the way down the center of it. And the thing that really kind of, even if I didn't have a seat for the kids in it, and I think they do this with the U-Pick. This is actually, I really like the Mayfly. I've wanted to try that kayak out. It's got like the best of both worlds. I love how low profile it is. I think it'd be awesome in the wind. But the thing that is holding me back is the gear track that is in the floor is raised up above the deck, and the Kilroy's is set below the deck.
Yes.
And I wanted the kids to be able to sit down without having like that rail, like being uncomfortable.
Sure.
Yeah. And so that was kind of why I keep sticking with the Kilroy HD in case I don't have the seat and they want to go, or if I decide to take the seat out. Because half the time now at this point, like with Zachary, he's starting to turn into like a little water bug, and he wants to jump out of the kayak, and he's really not spending that much time in a seat. So I'm like, should I even bring it anymore? So if he wants to sit down in the boat, at least he's sitting down on the deck and he's not got a gear track stabbing it in the butt the whole time. So
get him a kayak cushion.
Yeah, could do that too. But I mean, even with that stuff, you could still tell it's there, because I tried to do it with Colin and my my Kusa HD, and you could tell it, like after some time he'd start kind of moving around like like you can tell from the flooring of the deck of the kayak that it was kind of starting to bother him a little bit.
Yeah, but
yeah, dude, I love that thing. Just the fact that I could turn it into a tandem so easily. So,
it is a cool boat, man.
It's super stable. It's like Duda and I both have agreed on. It's a really, really fun boat to paddle. So,
sweet. Yes, cool, man.
Cool, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's sweet.
But we hit everybody, man.
All right. So I guess we'll wrap it up. Right, Brad? Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Everybody, thanks for listening again to the final cast. Yeah, it's always been fun. We'll see you next week.
Woo-hoo. See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to another killer episode on Paddle and Fin. Don't forget to go check out our website at paddle_n_fin.com. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel at Paddle and Fin. If you got a question, comment, want to hear from a future guest on a future episode, feel free to email us at paddle_n_fin@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Paddle and Fin on Facebook and Instagram. Shout out to our show supporters, Angler. The Angler button and app just makes for a better time on the water and creates a virtual logbook for every fishing outing out on the water. Shout out to Rocktown Adventures, located in Northern Illinois, for all your kayaking, camping, and hiking needs. Shout out to Jigmasters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to jigmasters.com.